2012.
Welcome to Tales from the Flipside, bringing you another episode of Dealer Flipside. Looks like our crowd's a bit light today, but
Hell yeah!
still make do. We'll still make do, and do the best we can because I know we're all getting ready for Baltimore Comic Con. Alrighty, that's enough of that. So welcome in, everyone.
It felt like a little bit longer intro.
I forgot to change it back to the what turns off the video.
Okay,
and then all that.
That one's better, bro.
That one's better to have the beat go longer with the black screen.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna come up with the new beat, bro.
Are you?
Yeah,
I'm down.
Okay,
let's do it. Yeah. I want to hear it. Like, send it to me once you have it finished, and then I'll try to come up with a better video. So, but are all three of us going to Baltimore Comic Con?
I am.
Sweet.
Oh, you're gonna be there, Tony?
I am. Yep. Hell yeah.
Okay. All right, man. You make sure you bring that money you owe me, bro. Make sure you bring that money you owe me, dog.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, what was everyone looking forward to at the convention? I mean, are you?
I don't know. Joe, what's your plan there? You have a mission?
Honestly, I just want to just hang out and meet everybody and make some new friends out there and kind of promote a little bit my Red Hood comic pressing and just promote the show and it's just a way to get away, man. You haven't been at a con in a few years, so like it's time, man. I don't give a shit if I have to wear a mask and all that stuff, man. Let's go. Let's look at some books.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And Aaron, I know you kind of told me a little bit ahead of time, but you plan on coming back with a book, right?
Yeah, so I'm bringing a book to trade. I'm bringing my Something Is Killing the Children #8, Jeff DeCall, 1 in 25. And I'm going to try to upgrade it to, a special Marvel edition #15. So that's the goal, to get as high as grade as possible.
You got yourself a deal.
So, yeah, I'm trying to get, like, a 9.2 or higher is the goal. I mean, obviously not a 9.6, but because I think that's, like, where it starts to break the multiple thousands of dollars. And
yeah, 4, 5, 6, like that,
yeah. So, like, I think a 9.2, 9.4 is what I'm aiming for. But we'll see if it's available. If not, there's always an X-Men 4 that I'll be gunning for. So,
man, I haven't decided if I'm gonna. Should I take the Marvel .1 second print, first appearance Kamala Khan?
What are you trying to get for it instead?
Well, I have it listed on eBay for like $7,000.
You have just one, or you got? I thought you had a few of those, don't you?
Yeah, I got 4 of them.
Well, bring one. You never know. Even if you come back home with it, whatever.
Yeah. Or you could always bring a 9.6. Right?
What,
don't you have
take a 9.6?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor, so. All right. Well, we got 38 people joined in with us live. I'm sure that stop by the booth on. I'll be working the booth on Sunday with Nico because I know a lot of people are going to the football game. But if you see us at the con, stop us and we'll say what's up.
Hell yeah! And since there's only 3 of us here, put your own choices into live chat. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then I'm actually in participating instead of that's why I took off the suit and tie, so I'm just wearing the sports jacket and go Astros. So, but I guess we still have some books left over for is it a kissing booth? I guess we still have some books left over for iconic or not iconic. So let's go ahead and run through these. I think I have like 5, but The Walking Dead. Is it iconic or not iconic? Issue #1. And then If you don't know that the mature readers has two different versions, where there's one that's in all black, which was published first, and then they noticed that like, oh, kids are starting to read this. We need to make that a little bit bolder, so they changed the text to all white. So is this Walking Dead #1 iconic or not iconic? And we can just say the signs
I'll throw a thumb.
for
I'll give it.
for being iconic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Leaning towards the no. I don't know. There's something. I guess since I'm the oddball out, there's just something about this cover that's not impressive to me. But at the same time, like I get it that it's been homaged 1,000 different times in 1,000 different ways. That I can see why it's iconic. I mean, it is an issue 1 that's like what the print runs pretty low in the first place, but it stayed steady in price. But yeah, just something about this, like I feel like overlooked if you're not really big into comics.
Yeah.
Can I say something? So, like, when we talk about, and I had some time to think about it too. So, like, there's iconic covers, right? There's iconic story writing, but but there's just overall an iconic book. Like, this is an iconic book because of what it represented. It represented a just a huge push for the comic book industry. This blew up in a way that, man, I can't think of anything like it, where it was must see TV to watch episode after episode, and uh, figures, big hardcover books. It just became a spectacle. Uh, so when I look at this book, I think about like it being iconic as far as what it stands for.
Right.
Image wasn't. They put out some books, but until this came out, it sort of rejuvenated the company. And so Kirkman, uh, you know, I guess everybody was so happy at Image, they welcomed Rob Liefeld back into Image Comics after they had tossed his ass out of there,
Yeah.
and it was Kirkman that pushed for it. That, hey, let's all be friends, because like, can you imagine if all of us get back together again? It's kind of like, the Eagles getting back together, or like Guns N' Roses getting back together. So, there's always strength in numbers. So, what this book represented was just a turn for the industry. It ignited it,
Yeah.
and
No,
it needed it.
I think you're right, Joe, and I'll agree with you too, Aaron. I don't think of this as an iconic cover, and when I was kind of playing along at home last week, that's how I was interpreting it. Like, this is an iconic cover. This is an iconic image. It's a well-known image, but this book just has so much importance, even if you never read it. I mean, Walking Dead is. I think when Image started, everybody thought that was going to be the rise of the indies, right? Every huge names, big splashy art, and then out of that first generation of Image titles, we did get a Spawn movie that some people loved, some people thought was stupid. We got a couple cartoons, and that's it. And then it seemingly everything died. So everybody's attention went back to the big two: Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC. But then this snuck up and just kicked everybody in the balls, and it got optioned, and it became a household name among everyone, all Americans. So if the whole indie market today has this book to thank for it, you know what I mean? If we didn't have The Walking Dead, there wouldn't be as many indie companies right now. They wouldn't be, you know, it wouldn't be this comic book as storyboard. We're going to put this, everybody wants to be the next Walking Dead. So yes, I agree with both of you. Not an iconic image or cover necessarily, but a super iconic book.
So you know how this book got made, right? So Kirkman was pitching it, and I think Valentino was the editor at the time. I can't remember, but like he goes, man, zombies, like it's not going to do well, and he just kept on, you know. And he goes, give me something different. I got to have something different. It can't just be zombies. And he goes, well, they're not really zombies. They're actually aliens. Like disguised as zombies. And he goes, okay, well, that's different. And then he was allowed to do the book. So right around issue 4 or 5, he's asking him, hey, when are we going to get the reveal of the aliens? And he goes, well, we're not, because they're really zombies. But I think orders from comic shops increased after, I think, 5 or 6. It just one kept selling better than the next, and then it just it's slowly, and then just started gaining steam, you know, and people were talking about it.
Well, I think a lot of times with like independent books, they have to do that. Like, I mean, they're obviously not the big two, but they have to have that slow build up and get it, you know, grab a few people's attention and then like become a cult following of a book. I mean, that's how indies, you know, really, that's how like any good comic will expand on. But I mean, to continue on also the other conversation that, you know, I think there's multiple ways you could look at this. Like, is it just the cover art that's iconic, or is it the entire book itself also that makes it iconic? And then that's why I like how Steve came up with all those other adjectives to use to describe books, like where it's like, or no, you put it in the chat where it was like legendary, you know, I forget what else, but like, yeah.
My interpretation of iconic was like, if you think of that thing, that's the first thing you think of. Like, if you think of whatever it is, if you think of Riri, the first image you think of is that book on that cover, then yeah, that's the iconic cover. And that's probably true for Walking Dead. If you think of a Walking Dead image in comics, you probably do think of, you either think of this one or something with Negan, I guess.
I was gonna say, like, when I think of Walking Dead, I think of the issue 100 story arc where Negan's introduced. I guess specifically the second print where Bat goes across all, and it's a connecting cover set, and it says, I don't remember what it says on there, but you know, that's the image that pops into my head whenever I think of Walking Dead. But I'm sure like some of the newer readers can start thinking of some of the deluxe covers that are coming out now. So.
Yep.
All right. So let's get next through all these other iconic or not iconic covers.
What the hell is this?
I don't know. So I'm pretty sure this is the facsimile edition.
Ninja Turtles? What the hell is that?
But it was funny to name drop someone. Comics Main actually messaged, dude, you should have this on the iconic or not iconic. And it was funny because we actually had this on our list to present, but like, you know, people were getting bogged down by it or whatever. So I was like, yeah, we just fast forwarded and like kind of ended it at the hour. But yeah, is this book iconic or not iconic? I'm gonna go with iconic. Like, I
can't disagree with it. I'm sorry, I can't play devil's advocate.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can, to be completely honest. Like, I mean, the reason why I became a pizza driver and obsessed with pizza was
Shut up, for real?
Yeah, dude, that's why I did that. I mean, okay, so when I graduated college, the job economy was really bad. So like for anyone that's like entering into, you know, a professional career, there was like no job market. And so my choices were either continue into school, go into debt, or get a job and then like pursue music. So the only job that's flexible with musicians is pizza, because you're mainly working on weekends, and then you can play on any night, whatever. And then, band practice can happen whenever, or at least the spot I had. But I mean, that was the one reason why I stayed in pizza for so long. Like, that's the job I worked while I was in college. But other than that, I was always a big Turtles fan growing up, because my mom bought me the Turtles first books, the original trade paperbacks.
Okay.
She got them for $1, like from like either Walmart or like one of those resale store, not a resale store, but like where it was marked down the clearance. And so, yeah, the story and like the first like whatever issues, like that stuck in my head. And yeah.
Did you carry nunchucks while you delivered the pizza or anything like that?
No, but I always wanted to like ride around on a scooter at one point in time. No, I'm just joking.
That'd be awesome.
I know, right?
When I was in high school, they had, I mean, obviously Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then what was that other indie book, or the radioactive? No.
Oh, the radically
adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters.
Oh, I was thinking.
I have one of those, and there was another book that did a take off of it too. So when I was in high school, we wrote our own. Mm-hmm. We had what did we have? We had preteen glow in the dark judo giraffes. That was our comic book. So yeah, no, this is so influential, and the art isn't traditional, so you can definitely say it's iconic.
Hey, yeah, Big Remo, I do live in H-Town, and I work downtown, so.
It's funny because, like, when I worked at my uncle's comic shop, it was right around this. God, I remember holding these first couple of issues and just shaking my head, like, how old was I? Jesus Christ, maybe 12. I'm kind of dating myself, but like I'm looking at it, and man, I could have bought issue 1, 2, 3. And I remember we had a little stack of them, and I'm just like, and I'm thinking to myself, so like these turtles, they're ninjas. Okay. All right. All right. And like back then it was like Batman and Superman and Spidey. Like I couldn't process that this was going to be a hit. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just being like, because Cerebus, like I had some stuck up friends that he's like, I can't believe you're reading superhero shit. You got to read Cerebus. And like, and I'm just like, whatever. But I could not process this turning into what it has become, movies, toys. And so like,
Joe, I was in the exact same place.
Yeah.
Exact, almost identical story. I remember seeing these issues on the shelves, but I was such an X-Men fan, superhero fan. It wasn't cool. I don't know. It wasn't
right. Well, no, I don't think it was cool. It's just like,
it was so different.
It was so different. Like now, if this would come out, like I don't know if it would be as big of a hit as it has become. Right? Does that make sense?
Well, would you say it was ahead of its time then?
Oh, way ahead of its time.
Well, I mean, at the same time though, I mean, I know like some of the original copies were like Xerox copies of like gobbledygook and all that. And would you say that this kind of like got underground comics into the mainstream where everyone started having to talk about this?
I think once the characters blew up, beyond the comics and the animated and the video games and all that. I have a question about this. So do you consider the Turtles as part of the 616 in the Marvel Universe? Since their origin story was the same
and
Daredevil?
I mean, and then what? It was always a parody of Daredevil, and then like what the explanation is that it continues off of one of the stories from the Daredevil books, right?
Well, the radioactive sludge or whatever that spilled on Daredevil that caused him to go blind and gave him his powers, that happens at the beginning of this book. And then
Right.
the stuff seeps into the sewers and contaminates and,
The turtles.
and mutates the turtles. So you never see Daredevil again beyond that first image. And then, yeah, they use some of the names, Splinter versus Stick and,
like
Frank
the Foot Clan, like the Foot Clan instead of the Hand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Tangent.
I guess you could technically like consider it into Marvel 616, but I don't know if Marvel would recognize it as canon.
Bro, can you imagine, dude? Like if they would make this canon, dude? Like
I don't know if they can afford to pay Eastman and Laird because I mean I know Eastman has to like support paying for his tank or whatever. So
wow.
All right. Yeah. So anyways, we're going through the Rick and Morty portal again.
I'm gonna throw up.
All right, so let's switch it back to everyone's favorite game, Deal or Flipside. So we're actually gonna play our standard form of game. I've gotten suggestions over the last couple of weeks, so hopefully, I guess let me take off my iconic, not iconic signs, so we can have some visuals.
All right, no holds barred.
I know, right? We're gonna take it old school style of how like the show used to do it, where we'll each explain why we chose the books that we picked, and because I think we got a comment suggestion of that too. That instead of just picking two people to pin up against each other, that we should each discuss why we picked our picks. And so we have the right size panel to do that, and let's go for it. So, yep. Our first submission was sent to the Tales from the Flipside Instagram account, and I forgot who the user was, but I'm pretty sure I wrote their name in the description. But anyways, thank you for making the suggestion. So we have Invincible Iron Man number 1, CGC 9.8, and we have Ironheart number 1, CGC 9.8. The Iron Man number 1 sold for $200 versus the Ironheart number 1 sold for $201. I'm still getting my sign ready because we had the iconic, not iconic stuff. But if you have your signs ready, go ahead and hold up which book you would pick. And then 3, 2, 1.
Can't find my sign.
It's all right, Joe. Just let us know which one you would pick.
I'm Flipside, baby. Flipside.
Okay, so we're all unanimous on this.
I got 30 copies of that one right there.
So that's a good reason.
Baby.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, you're vested into it. But if you didn't have 30 copies of it, which book would you pick then? How about if I asked you that question?
No, I like so it's just a better looking cover too, man. The sky in the background. I mean, it's just a cool cover. The other one, man, like the helmet looks stupid on it, like, and I don't want, I take that back because I'm not going to shit on anybody that has this set in a 9.8. They're going to go like, F you, Joe, Red Hood sucks,
You get tons of messages on Instagram.
I mean, you
something.
Can't go wrong. It's a fun character. She's going to have her day in the sun. It's coming. Both are great investments right now. But my choice would be Invincible Iron Man number 1. Just cover the name Ironheart on the book. And I know there's like been going back and forth, like the first appearance, full, and I don't give a shit. I just like that book.
Or even the issue that she first gets the name Ironheart, which I know Mighty Mel V is a big fan of issue 3, which right. But I mean that's interior stuff, and then
So I would tell Mighty Mel V, if you're pushing for that to be her first appearance, then are you pushing for Hulk 180? You see what I'm saying?
Oh
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, that you have to have a set standard of what you
yeah,
decide
like you
as
can't.
like what's
I
a first
mean,
appearance or what's a cameo.
right? Because then let's
Name.
just say every cameo is the first damn appearance, right? Let's just say every cameo is the first appearance. It's the first time you see them, right? And
Oh, okay.
they appeared, right?
Hmm.
Boom, and you saw them. That's the first appearance, right? This cameo shit is bugging the hell out of me, dude.
Well,
Especially when you got the guy writing it, and he goes, "No,
it,
that's her first." No, it's not. It's not. But I wrote it. I don't give a
uh,
shit. It's not the first appearance.
well, it's getting worse before it gets better.
I
Like,
know.
I don't know how you can have a character show up in like 4 different issues and those all be like weird cameos, like however you want to spin it, and then like their first full appearance is like known at this point, and then that book is overprinted to hell, and like where everyone has the character that comes to mind like right off the bat is Punchline would be one. What because like the first like cameo appearance would be Hell Risen 3,
Yeah,
and then what was the next one? The next cameo is what, Batman 89,
it's just fucking stupid, man.
Yeah.
and then like there's a bunch of other weird cameos or whatever, and then like finally they said issue 92, Batman 92 was the first full appearance, which I don't hate because like that art germ cover is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like because everyone saw it coming a mile away, that book was printed to hell and back, like, and then probably back to hell. But
That's a
but
whole nother topic.
yeah. So I mean, that might be a good roundtable discussion.
Yeah.
Or roundtable argument. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah,
we're all in
It's
agreeing that the top one is the one you would buy.
I think
it-
yeah. The top one is earlier. The top one is still first solo series, right? Neither one is the first appearance. The top one is better art. The bottom one might have better variants. There are some really nice looking variant covers for that first Ironheart, but the first Ironheart is not the first use of that word Ironheart. Yeah, it's the top one. I wouldn't pass up the bottom one by any means, but not for
No.
the same dollar amount.
yeah. I agree with that statement. And then, I mean, honestly, I'd be hunting the second print still for Invincible Iron Man if I could
Right.
find it at the right price.
I got 3 of them if you want one.
Not that bad. I'm
I'll
just
make you a
joking.
deal.
Okay, we'll talk off air.
Or Flipside.
I do think people talk about the name for Riri.
Hmm.
90% of the time when people are talking about that character, what do they call her? They call her
Ironheart?
Riri.
Oh, they don't
She's
actually
Riri.
call.
Everybody
Yeah.
refers to her as Riri. I know the show is going to be called Ironheart,
Mm.
and I know she has the name Ironheart in the comics, but she's more famous as just as Riri. So the first use of that name, it'd be like if Miles started using a different name. Great, that's great, but he's Miles, right? He's Miles Morales. We're gonna go after that first appearance.
Right. Like, do you call Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider? Like, it's kind of like that kind of situation. Like, because like her code name is Ghost Spider now or whatever.
Right.
But then like they came out with so much.
Possible, maybe 10 years from now, everybody and their brother is going to be using the name Ironheart, and kids are going to be running around with Ironheart Halloween costumes, and that could change. But for right now, she's Riri.
So that's her real name, Riri.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like her mom said, Riri sounds pretty good. Let's name her Riri.
I don't know. I've never looked at her driver's license, I guess.
Yeah, like
Because
it seems like it could be a nickname.
It could be.
Oh, where we could check is the back issue of the
The trading
card variant. I'm sure it says their first like full name, like it and what her code name is.
There you go, some cornbread there, man.
Or
Ooh,
do it.
If she,
here we
look
go.
it up. I wonder if she is named
H
after
and
her
H
father.
Comics. Thank
Here
you.
we go.
Her
Dropping the
father,
knowledge.
her father is named Riri.
Stuff I did not know.
Man, he must have had a tough time in school, man.
All right, let's move on to our next set of books. This was sent to us by Carter Mercenaut. So we have
Ooh.
Killmonger #2, the 1 in 25, Jeff DeCall. That sold for $249 versus Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Temple #5, 1 in 10.
These are raw?
These are
Raw.
both raw copies for $250.
Wow.
So at this price point, which book are you picking? 3, 2, 1. You're going with the Star Wars?
Bottom one.
All right, Joe.
Bottom one.
Tee us up and teach Tony and I why we should have picked the Star Wars.
Well, like I'm pretty confident in the grade. Look how perfect that book looks. And the guy even took it out of the bag because he goes, "No bullshit here. This book is rare, and it looks mint to me, bro." No, I'm just kidding. No, I just you know, I think that has a little more room to grow than the Killmonger. Killmonger right now, the steam on Killmonger is kind of cooling off a little bit. Possibly Michael B. Jordan in Part 3, Black Panther 3, but I think once Book of Boba Fett comes out, like you're going to start seeing the steam all over again on all these Star Wars books, and it's
Yeah,
going to
Star Wars has
be
been
it's going to
cool.
be crazy.
Right. I don't disagree with that statement that, right now is a good time to buy into Star Wars books. Not all of them, but like there are some that are, flying under the radar, if you will, or slightly veering to the left. But so anyways, but I'm not familiar with this Star Wars title. Is this connected to like the video game?
Yeah.
Fallen Order, and so
Yes.
I'm guessing this is something important to do with the
Yeah, she's a bad guy. She's a bad girl.
the Grand
Bad person.
Inquisitors or
She's a
something
bad
like that,
person.
or sisters or something.
It's a kick-ass cover.
Yeah, it is a great looking cover. I think I'm just a bigger fan of DeCall, no matter what. And then, yeah. I know the Killmonger book is a pretty tough book to get in a high grade because the back cover has a lot of color rub usually.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
No.
that's that's standard these days, man. Color rub. Fucking tired of that shit, dude. Like
Get some better ink.
either that or like don't take it off on grading, dude. Like it's a thing. These books are getting all like smeared and everything, and everybody knows Diamond struggles and what's the other one? Peacock, Pelican, whatever. What is it? This
Penguin Random House.
Penguin.
Cockatoo.
Looks like a penguin stepped all over these books, dude. No, but like, yeah, that's a thing too. When you're like picking out books, man, like especially like variants, and your LCS has them on the wall, make them take it out of the bag and board and see if that backboard has got some smear on it too, man.
No,
because that's a thing, dude. These comic dealers try and hide that shit.
What
did I pick? I picked the top one, right? I'm picking that one honestly because I don't own it and I want to. I think that one's going to go down as like that's going to stay in the top 5 DeCall covers for a long time.
Yeah,
like that's a solid DeCall cover. That's a solid Killmonger cover. Even if I don't know. Even if we don't see Michael B. Jordan back.
You'll see him back.
Well, yeah,
you'll see.
That's why I was thinking that too. That like with the reaction of seeing Killmonger in What If, I feel like that's like kind of like also like almost like a testing grounds to see how the
Right.
general audience like will react to like Marvel Zombies, like to like anything that they presented in the What If series. Kind of similar to like what they were doing with Star Wars Visions. Like I feel like whatever the most popular um, anime style that they use or storyline, that they're going to expand more on that at some point in time. I'm not saying it's going to happen within the next. I mean, I don't know how many years it would take, but I feel like they don't do those kind of things for no reason.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, and it's smart too, because like they go, okay, we're going to give you all of these different styles. You tell us which one you like, and we'll go with that. I mean, very little risk. And this
And
way,
now, I mean, they've introduced the multiverse to general audiences, so they can do anything.
Yeah,
They can do anything if they decide to have, they could do like multiverse series. They could play off some storylines that aren't even connected to the regular MCU, just using some Michael B. Jordan. I don't know. They could do whatever they want, really. But I will say this one is really interesting because it makes me very happy. On Whatnot about 2 months ago, I bought the whole set of the bottom one, the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple, 1 through
Nice.
5, all the incentives from Keep It Thorough Comics. For
keep it thorough. Yeah, you straight up, man.
I think I paid $350 for the set of all 5 variants. So the fact that one of them selling for $250, love it.
Yeah,
nice. Congrats.
Thorough is stand-up seller, man. He's awesome, man. Y'all haven't checked out his show, Keep It Thorough. Like, give him a like.
Yep.
Yeah, I did a show of nothing but like incentives just to like try to scrounge up some extra money for Baltimore, and there were definitely some books that hit really hard, and then there were others that like kind of like just take these books off my hand, please. So, but I mean, that's how it goes sometimes,
Yeah, you take the good with the bad, man. I always like throw a whole shitload of extra books for everybody, man. Just keep the karma going, man.
I mean, it's all right because I unloaded a bunch of Funko Pops I didn't need in my collection anymore. So I'm gonna keep on those shows. Yeah. So I'm surprised like how well that market does. Like, no matter what time you go on, because I was doing shows like at 5 a.m, like after Drunken Chat, and they've done pretty well.
Are you serious, bro? 5
those Funko collectors, man, they're tweaking out at all hours.
Yeah, the first time I did that, there was no one else on, so I had like 30 people in my room just like buying up stuff. Like there's pop figures I literally got for like maybe like $3 or $4, like from Target sales, where it's just like kind of like, oh, that looks cool. I kind of want that. And then I'm also a toy collector, if you didn't know, and I like to keep stuff in boxes. So I've like, I don't know, I guess that phrase goes like, it's not mint in box if it's been taken out of the box. So I kept all my Funkos in boxes except for one, but I don't ever plan to sell it because it was a gift from my brother.
That's cool.
Which is also the crazy part.
Shout out to the buyers of these books, man. It takes a lot of balls to drop $250 on a raw book that you can't
without
see
in person.
That's some balls, bro. Like,
yeah, I hope they had better, additional pictures showing all
and
the
to the
corners.
seller, hopefully you didn't screw the buyer over, because if you did, you're gonna get some bad juju. That's a thing, man.
Yeah,
but I mean, $250 for he's admitting it's a 9.4. So
yeah,
9.4, and somebody, because maybe he's not a presser and he can't press it out.
Well, I also wanted to ask you, like, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to ask you, do you think people just listed at that journal 9.4 to say, hey, this is a near mint copy? If it's better or worse, you really can't complain?
Absolutely. So, like, that's a good strategy, because then, the buyer will look at it. Yeah, it is 9.4, because when you buy something, you're going to be so highly critical. You're going to be there with a magnifying, this fucker lied to me, So, like, it's better to be on the lower side. That's why a graded book, there is no doubt, right?
Right.
And so
Right.
when you're dealing with selling a raw book, you're sort of dealing with like what a CGC grader is dealing with, right? It's what they see and their opinion. So it's in the eyes of the beholder, I guess, right? So you get the book, you may see a flaw in there that they didn't see. So
So Trace Hunter, I don't know who you're buying books from, but
yeah, try like hey, hit up on one of my shows, man. Like
any of our
I
shows, honestly,
yeah.
like you could probably get like something for a good steal or like
Oh yeah,
something that
man.
has like specs potential. Like, I
I,
mean, honestly, like I don't mind selling books at a cheap, even at sometimes at a loss, because like I know that like if it's what I say it was, like I feel like you'll come back.
Right.
so
So
I was doing a whatnot show, Aaron, and like you know how I do my crazy thing. If you throw down a bid, I'm throwing another book. I'm throwing another book, and so I did a whole stack right for like this guy got a whole bunch of free books, right? And then he hits me up. He goes, "Hey man, you forgot one of the free books in there," and
oh
I'm
my
like,
god.
"Dude," and I'm like, "Okay, bro." So I sent him 10 more fucking books. There, stick it
Oh,
up your ass, bro.
well,
You showed him.
I sure did.
well, I had a book where I overlooked one of the corners and stuff like that, and then it had like a non-color breaking like bend in it and stuff like that, and it was just something I it was an oversight. Just the way the cover was. I'm not gonna say which book it is because like uh
Right.
it'll probably point out who the person was. But anyways, I ended up
Who was complaining, bro?
I ended up having another copy, and then so I sent them another I told them go ahead and keep that one, whatever, use it as a reader, and then I'll send you a what I said was a near mint one, and I found the near mint copy that I had, luckily, and then I just threw in a few extra books, just like yeah.
What did
Yeah.
they pay? Like $3, so they felt like they got ripped off, right?
Um, no, they paid close to market to like what you would find it on eBay and stuff like that
Okay.
for that book. So I felt bad that like it sold for that, and then it wasn't in the condition I said it was or whatever. But like
Yeah.
it
No,
was just
but
an oversight.
no, Trace wasn't lying. So like, there's people on whatnot that are clearly trying to take advantage of buyers. Novice people just getting into the hobby, and they take out their garbage of 50-cent books or 25-cent books that I wouldn't
Quasar
pay.
9.
Yeah, that I wouldn't pay like uh, anything for. And they go, well, here's a Spider-Man day, right? And they have all this garbage Spider-Man that's not spec worthy. There's no first appearance. There's probably a last appearance in there,
There's
So
another
like,
good seller right there.
yeah, Major Issues, what's up? He's a good buyer. But yeah, there's a lot of crap out there, and it kind of makes it hard for people that legitimately are selling quality books and are, like we represent Flipside. We're absolutely not going to fuck anybody over because you have to see us every, uh, on shows and stuff like that. So like it's not in our interest to screw anybody over, but like be very wary of like if they don't want to show you the condition of the book and they keep it in the yeah I have this as a near mint plus, and it's like take it out of the bag, dude. Like, so I mean, you got to be very careful if you see that people like aren't even have one banger book and it's just trash after trash. Don't fucking bid on it.
Right. And to answer your question earlier, Aaron, I do it differently whether I'm selling on eBay or whatnot. On eBay, I'll just let the pictures do the talking. I'll take a picture front and back of any flaw that I see.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not
You got to be
I don't list.
transparent.
This is a 9.2. This one's a 9. Just these are all the flaws. If you want to buy it at this price, great. You can't really do that on whatnot. Like there's no opportunity to do close-ups. You can hold a book really close to the camera, but the video quality just isn't there. There's only a certain amount of time. So those I do, I'll inspect them before the sale and come up with my whatever it is, very fine near mint minus. I won't put a number on it per se, but I'll do my best to do that and then try to be honest about it, like you said.
All right. Yeah. Before we go off the rails too much, let's get back to the game.
Yes.
So yeah. So next we have Kanan the Last Padawan, number 6, CGC 9.8. That sold for $630 versus an Incredible Hulk 449 that sold for $650.
Oh.
All right. Hold up your signs in 3, 2, 1.
The bottom one. Right, I sound like the guy from what Bloodsport. Bottom one. The dim mock.
All right, Tony, you're up.
I'll go first. The reason I'm going with the top one is because of what we said earlier. Star Wars books are definitely on a lull. We've seen what happened with Ahsoka, and I don't think Ahsoka has tapped the general audiences. People who don't collect comics or watch cartoons, they may have heard her name if they saw her in The Mandalorian there, but that's going to blow up. But there's that same opportunity for Sabine Wren.
Yeah, that's true.
There's going to be a lot of content coming out. If Sabine Wren becomes a household name, like Ahsoka probably will, 630, that's going to look really freaking cheap for Star Wars collectors a few years from now. I've always been a little skeptical on the Thunderbolts. I've never been a big first team guy, and this book has kind of proved me wrong, but I'm still holding with that, especially, the Thunderbolts have had a million different lineups. Who are the Thunderbolts? So, I want to see them on screen, and if they make it to screen, and if they're called the Thunderbolts, if they have the same kind of origin story, I would imagine this book will keep going. This book will hit 1,000, but I think the top one has a good shot at 2,000 to 3,000. So I'm going with the top one.
Yeah, that's very true. I was kind of hesitant of which one to pick. I think the only reason why I skipped out on the Last Padawan was because it's back to the conversation we were having earlier, that when you have a first appearance, and this is obviously not very clear either what Sabine Wren's first appearance is, because the whole issue that this is a flashback, blah blah blah. I'm not here to start up that debate, but I see a big potential with the Thunderbolts, or I guess it could also be with an asterisk that, is it also, or is it more of the Dark Avengers, with Contessa showing up every so often, talking to the different people throughout what they're forming up now for the MCU.
That is a good point. If they're called the Dark Avengers, then what happens to this book?
Right, that's true. But what if they take a bunch of members from Thunderbolts in this issue and put them in the Dark Avengers?
Well, and a lot of characters have been in both.
Yeah.
Moonstone was in both. Bullseye was in both, wasn't he? I don't remember.
I don't remember. All right, Joe, any thoughts? Or
well, I think the Thunderbolts are coming. I just get a little paranoid because Marvel, what they like to do is they'll get this group together, but I don't think they'll even say what they are. It'll just be a group. I don't think they'll all get together. We are the Thunderbolts. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you just will know that this is a group, and it'll be understood that they're the Thunderbolts, right?
So we're not going to see some giant 90s title come across the screen where it says Thunderbolts?
Yeah, dude.
Suicide Squad.
Can you imagine that? It just pops up on the screen. These guys are the Thunderbolts. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah. I think it'll just they'll be working together. Who knows, man?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I want to see some fucking movies, man. Like Venom sucked. Come on, man. I'm tired of this shit, dude.
Oh,
So,
actually, I haven't seen Venom yet.
speculation time. So we know the Contessa is the one putting this team together. And it could be either way, right? It could be
Yeah.
one way or the other. Who is Contessa working for? Is Thunderbolt Ross behind this thing?
Well, yeah, they put him in Black Widow, right? Didn't they de-age him and all that? So why even bother with that shit if you're not going to go this route, right? Right?
I don't know.
Answer me. No, I'm just playing.
He might, a lot of people think he's too old to play Red Hulk, but
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not too old to be the founder of the Thunderbolts. So,
Oh, yeah. Let me just call Feige real quick.
Hey,
can you do that?
what if
No.
Contessa's Red She-Hulk, bro?
Oh.
No, I'm just could happen, bro. You never know.
Wouldn't Red She-Hulk wasn't that
Well, yeah, but
Betsy Ross or was it
just follow along, bro.
Liv
Damn.
Tyler? She's gonna be Red She-Hulk. What are you talking about?
I guess, dude. But Marvel changes stuff all the time, bro.
They do.
I thought it was gonna be Elena
As She-Hulk, bro.
as Red She-Hulk.
Red
No.
Red Widow. Did
Oh
you
my
say
God.
Red Widow? Everybody going out buying some Red Widow.
Oh my God. We're gonna start so many bad things. All
Oh
right.
man.
We got 90 people watching, so all right, let's move on to our next set of books. All right, I thought this was going to be an interesting argument. Yeah, so we have Saga number 1, CGC 9.8 first print, versus Something is Killing the Children number 11, 1 in 100, where it's a homage to a Department of Truth. That also sold for $800. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Switching.
You're going to switch?
I changed my mind.
Oh, me too.
Oh, wow.
Me too. No.
No, I'll still argue for Saga 1.
No, I think Saga is a good play right now. I think it's come down a lot. I mean, 9.8.
Well, I think it's actually jumped up in price.
It jumped up.
Yeah.
I thought it was up over $1,000 at one time, dude.
This one lived at $400 to $500 for like years. It just lived there. And then this last year it crept 6, 7, and now we're seeing 8.
Yeah, and then I feel like it's hit that $800 price mark because of their rebooting the series in January of 2022. So I feel like it's gonna keep on steadily increasing in price, and then who knows what's gonna happen. Like, I hope it doesn't end up being like a 7 to Eternity, like where they rebooted the series. And
I know, dude, they fucked that up, dude.
But I mean, people have been anticipating the re-release of Saga for what it's been 3 years now at this point.
Yeah. You could talk to Brian K. Vaughan there in Baltimore and say, "What's your plan, man? Tell us right now. We'll kick your ass."
Well, I mean, so from what I've heard is that basically that he spent this entire time of 3 years to write out the rest of the story, and that he was trying to get it to issue 107, 108, something like that. Is that right?
Damn.
110 is where it's going to end.
Is it 110?
Or no, no, I'm sorry. You're right. 108. 108.
Okay. Yeah. Because it sets, because I think that ties the record for something, right? The same creative team or something like that. I don't remember what indie record it's setting. And then, I'm still waiting for my Something is Killing the Children to come back. I'm sure a lot of people probably would have thought I would have picked that. I already have a copy, and I'm not too emotionally attached to it, so I won't mind seeing it go away one day. But that book's on the dip right now, so
I look at Saga and it's like that book is too smart for me, bro. Like, I went to Miller High School, and I can't even add numbers up, bro. Like, they use big words in that book, and like, you know, like I can't get past the first 5 pages, dude. Like that's right up your alley, Aaron. You're the brain, bro, and Tony too, man. Tony's the indie guy. Like these are books that like I speculate just on the way the market goes, but like I haven't read not one book of Saga, you know,
Yeah,
because
I
like
think you'd like it, man. I think.
unless
I mean,
somebody wants to read it to me, like that Saga that needs to come with a cassette tape, bro. To download to, and so that I can listen to it, you know.
they could do that. You know how they did the enhanced audiobook for the Sandman, where they have like a cast and sound effects and shit. They could do that for Saga. That'd be kind
Yeah,
of cool.
that would help me.
That'd be kind of
Like
cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, and I don't think that would take away from like the story. I mean,
No,
I'm just now reading it, and um, I'm enjoying it. My brother was always a big fan of Saga, and he's like, dude, you got to read this. You got to read this. And I wish I read it earlier, in that that time period of when they weren't writing, so I could be picking up more books.
when it was cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I did score for my brother was when I went to Dallas, I picked up the rest of the second prints that he did not have, and I picked
Right.
up each cover for $3.50. And this was like a month before they made the announcement that they were coming back. So
That's awesome.
yeah, so I mean, I can't complain, and then it's probably going to be his Christmas gift. But I mean, he doesn't watch the show, so he won't know.
I know. I gotta give a shout out to Comic Man Andy. He lives, breathes, and bleeds Saga. But I'm right there with him. This was one of the books that brought me this, and probably the Matt Fraction Hawkeye are the books that brought me back into collecting. Between whatever 8-10 years ago. I think it's a super important book, even if it never hits the screen, which I hope it does. But even if it never does, it's going to be legendary forever. I mean, it's that RRP, the diamond retailer version, the 500 print run, I want to say. I mean, that's topping 4 or 5K now, and there's no option news. There's no option news. I picked the bottom one actually. But again, because of what I already own, I've got like 2 or 3 of the top one. And my first big purchase as a speculator, the first time I spent more than $1,000 on one thing was on a copy of the RRP. I think I got a copy for like $1,200 a few years ago, which thank the Lord I did. But
did you grade yours?
What's that?
Did you grade it?
I bought it as a 9.8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's even more impressive. Like to see it, that's a big increase for a 9.8. Because like sometimes like when you buy a 9.8, that could be like the peak of the price. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's always a scary thing.
Yeah, it's been in the closet for a long time. So I love Saga. I mean the sky's the limit for Saga, but I'm picking the bottom one because that really. We talked before the show about checking boxes. Something is Killing the Children is probably the most hyped indie comic that's getting option, that's getting made. We know it's getting made with Netflix. We haven't heard any casting news, but that's kind of the step we're at. Sounds like they're working on casting, or if they have casted someone, they just haven't announced it yet.
Right.
But that's very, very anticipated. Very anticipated.
Man, so do these comic book companies know that when you make 1,000 variants of a fucking book, you're watering down the market and doing it to the point where you could just kill this whole market, like House of Slaughter being printed. I don't know how many fucking copies they made, but that's
It's
just
probably as
like
many as issue 16.
right, and it's just lunacy, dude. Like,
yeah, and Joe, I'm entirely with you because as a whole, I am not putting money into Something is Killing the Children. There's too much hype. There's too many covers. There's too many incentives. These values are kind of crazy. It is too much. But going back to the checking boxes, this one made Ross Ritchie's list of one of the 5. I don't know, remember where it hit.
Yeah.
He made a list of the 5 least printed Something is Killing the Children books. I think it was the DeCall. It was this one. It was the 1 in 100.
Well, so this is the 1 in 100. So the number one was Frozen. Number 2 was The Call. I want to say this was number 3.
I think so, yeah.
And then number 4 was issue. Was it issue 7? The 1 in 20. The orange cover.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember
one from you. I think I bought that one from you.
But the scarcity on this alone gives it that value. But then with this one too, you have the whole Department of Truth. That is Department of Truth cover. So Department of Truth collectors, when Department of Truth gets made, which is another super anticipated. I understand they're both Tinian But I just think the bottom one is just, it checks too many boxes to ignore. I think 800 might be low, quite low for that, compared to we've seen that DeCall in a 9.8 sell for between 2,000 and 3,000. I think that's come down, but I think
I want to say I think even the Frozen has come down in price too. I think last time I looked at a 9.8, I think it sold for 1,800 or something like that.
Yeah. But that's the thing. You got to sell these books when they're at their peak, and this, with the pandemic and everything, nobody knows what how high it could go. The Miles Morales book. I mean, the Ultimate Fallout 4, the Jurjevic variant, man, 31K, 32K. God
that's
damn,
nuts,
bro.
That's crazy.
If I'm spending that much money, man, Miles better come with the book, bro.
All right. I think I only have a few more books left, but we have Amazing Spider-Man 101 raw copy that sold for $811 versus a Silver Surfer number 4.5 that sold for $800.
I'm going with the Amazing Spider-Man 101.
Why, Joe?
Yeah, where are you going with that?
Well, potentially has opportunity to get a high grade. It looks pretty clean. It says higher grade Key Marvel. What does that mean? Higher grade. Higher than what?
Higher than what?
Man, dude.
Higher than your average copy.
Yeah, you're. That's a new way to fucking skate around telling what people the actual grade you think it is, right? It's higher than most grades. Typically in this book, the average grade sold, right? It's higher than that. I'm gonna start listing books like that, dude, because then you don't pin yourself down to a grade. Yeah, it's higher than most grades. What the hell do you want from me?
I like using other words like awesome grade. This is a super great book.
Yeah, and there's not going to be a reserve. No way, buddy. Have at it.
No, I want to pay extra fees for that reserve.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
I had to choose the iconic cover though. Was my whole thing.
So
the bitch slap.
So you can get, honestly, the Silver Surfer book, the cover, in 455. Man, if you can get one that really looks good. I pressed a book for a customer. The front cover was spectacular. Just had a lot of issues in the back and the spine, but when you put it in a slab, man, it's one of those covers that even at a 4.5, it looks just as good as an 8.0. I mean, if there's no bends or folds or whatever. So, I mean, there's a lot of meat on the bone on that cover. I just chose the Morbius because, maybe in 2027 we'll get the Morbius movie.
Yep.
Is the actor Jake Gyllenhaal? Is that who's supposed to be Morbius?
No, Morbius is what's his
Jared
name?
Leto. Okay.
It's the Joker. The Joker's Morbius.
Well,
30
as long
Seconds
as
to Mars.
I was gonna say, as long as he doesn't play a 30 Seconds to Mars song, then I'm
Oh
okay
no
with
shit, dude.
that.
No, I went with Amazing Spider-Man. I love that cover on the bottom. Don't get me wrong, but first Morbius, that's a super important key. I mean, really, and we're just scratching the surface, or we haven't scratched the surface on the
You
horror
know
realm.
what? That is, you know what, Tony? I'm going to stop you right there because
Mhm.
like we use words like iconic and and just all these different adjectives. I like what you said. That's an important book.
Yeah,
Important because we're fixing to go into the horror genre, right? It is
Yeah.
very important. And
even if they fumble this movie, which I have a gut feeling they're going to, it's been in the can for a year and a half, and they basically just haven't released it. And granted, COVID, but still, if it was that good, wouldn't we have heard something by now?
Like someone's had to have previewed it by this point in time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. I don't want them to fail in the Spideyverse movies. But even if it does, Morbius is just again too important. That would be a character I could see that if Blade blows up, which it probably will, they'll probably have Blade will probably be the first character to have 2 trilogies in the MCU.
Oh yeah, man.
They'll probably have another trilogy now.
Well,
And
you're
if
talking
it
about
does blow up,
Spider-Man.
I could
Spider-Man's
see.
going to have 3 trilogies.
Yeah, that's true. But I could see Sony signing a deal with Marvel again on the horror side, saying, okay, can we put Morbius in your Blade movies? Can we do that? Can we share this universe a little bit and then share the money? So
Yeah.
You just
But
wish they
yeah,
could strike a deal, Sony and Marvel, and just give Marvel the goddamn character so they can do it right, dude. Like,
well, yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
know?
I know they've gotten back and forth in negotiations like how many times now at this point. But I mean, with the teaser at the end of Venom, wouldn't that somewhat give you a glimpse of hope that they are working out something, and then that they're just not publicly announcing like what that deal is, just so they can hash it out and finally figure out what they want to do
And that
to
just it looks so fucking cheesy though, dude. Like where he's like licking the television, ugh, you know? And
but I
I'm like,
mean
that's the way you're gonna put him in the MCU, bro?
I,
like
I
how
think
was
you're
that
right,
Really?
Aaron. I think that is a sign that we're going to see more of a crossover than we have. But if that crossover doesn't include Feige having some creative control on the Spideyverse movies, what good is it?
that's true.
If we see the characters jump back and forth, but half of the Sony movies still suck, what good is it?
Or
Dude,
vampire zombies.
it's like Sony just wants to pump out movies because that's the way things were used to be done. Just pump it out,
Well,
put the movie out, put it out. Fuck it. If it's
if
no
they were
good,
good at it,
whatever.
that
You
would
know?
be if they were good at it, they should stay separate because then we could get 3 Sony movies a year and 4 we'd have a shit ton of movies and they'd
Yeah.
all be great.
Yeah.
But Sony just hasn't proven that they can really pull it off.
Besides their
I-
animated stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
yeah. So that's completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
But speaking about animated stuff, let's go into some DC books.
Um,
So we have Batman Beyond #1.
that was a good segue, Aaron.
Try. With a CGC 9.8 that sold for $1,962 versus a Batman 251 9.0 that sold for $1,899.
wow.
Oh shit. We got DC. I gotta call Steve.
I know, right? Can we phone a friend here? All right. Hold up your signs in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll go first since I was the only one to choose the Batman 251.
Stupid pick, man.
So, I mean, that book is tough to get in a high grade I've looked at several different copies. I was trying to find a raw one to see like what I could hit. I mean, I know it's a classic Neil Adams cover that people either love or hate. I mean, just because of who Neil Adams can or cannot be, like whenever you meet him, um, he's been a bit bipolar every time I've ever met him. I mean, I don't think I've ever.
He's an asshole.
Well, so it's funny. The first convention I ever went to, he was super nice. He was welcoming to his booth. He was like, "Hey, how's it going?" Blah blah blah. Like he was super outgoing, and I was like, "Cool." Like my brother and I. This is our first convention after not collecting for so many years, and we were looking around, and then decide. I didn't buy anything, and so I moved on, and then as I got deeper into the comic community, learning, like what covers he's done and all that, and then hearing all these horror stories about people meeting him, like it was just kind of like, I guess what's important to know is that first impressions do have a lasting impression on a person, and it takes like however many times to correct that. It's hard to pass on the Batman Beyond #1, like that's something that I grew up with watching, like from moving on from Batman animated series to Batman Beyond. And I think I was getting to that age point where I was becoming less interested in comics and more interested in like chasing girls or whatever. That like I wasn't collecting comics and holding on to them anymore. So
let me tell you, they make a live action of Batman Beyond. That book is going to be 10K. That book is going to be a monster. It already is a monster.
Right.
Like, but you want to talk about books trying to get in a high grade. That's a top fucking book, man.
But see, I would argue that I think the third print would probably hit the 10K mark, and then I could see this maxing out like what if they do live action like somewhere like 5K. That's just my estimate, guessing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Joe. I think. See, I love the Batman, the Batman book, but it's funny. DC, Batman Beyond is basically almost kind of like the 2099, DC's version of that. But 2099 got a lot of hype, and there are some famous or iconic characters or costumes from 2099 in Marvel side, but DC pulled it off with the stories. They've got the characters. They've got actual good stories that would translate well on screen. And if they could get it in their head that they don't have to only show Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, Diana, that they can feature other characters, including other versions of those characters. They would, like Joe said, this book would blow up. Those movies would blow up.
I'm going to change my pick to Batman 251 because Chad Cave just picked that one. And I don't want him picking on me tonight.
I'm changing my pick to Bitcoin because that's what Hi Nathan said. So.
Shout out to Chad Cave. What's up, Chad?
Yeah, I want to thank the 90 viewers watching right now. I know that it's a smaller crew, but we're still here. We're all getting ready for Baltimore. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And yeah, so you don't miss all this great content. All right, so we made it to our last set of books. So this was mentioned on Flipside, the flagship show on Monday. And I think Dino was like, oh, this would be a good deal or Flipside. And I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, this is a good deal or Flipside.
Fuck, man.
So is that the lenticular on the bottom?
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think they're both. I think the top one's the facsimile one too.
Jesus
Christ.
So. That's like the heavyweight championship going at it right there, man. Those are two solid investments right there.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this hits a lot of check marks that like people have always been looking for in comparisons for us. So we have, so we have Werewolf by Night 32 that sold that's a CGC 9.4. That's for $11,613. Versus a giant size X-Men #1 CGC 9.4 that's sold for $11,952. I thought it was kind of interesting that it was the same seller. Probably books on consignment.
Hey,
But
notice he put the word iconic in the giant size X-Men, bro.
That's
did he
right.
really?
Yeah, look, iconic, super high grade, new.
He's got him in the top one too.
Oh, he put
Nice.
iconic
Trademark
on it?
infringement.
Hey, all right,
Trademark
man. Let's
infringement.
find out who the seller is, bro. He probably watches this show, bro.
Maybe. I have no idea.
Well, you need to find out, Aaron. What's his
Dude,
name?
I'm not gonna sit around. His thing's right there.
Right.
Probostine.
Oh, that's him.
Probostine, 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Probstein, reveal yourself now.
Right. He's gonna like pop in the chat. Like, why are you talking about my books?
Yeah.
All right.
You want some shit? You want some shit?
Boom. Which books are you buying?
I'm going giant size.
You're also going giant size?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I don't care about Poe Dameron doing the Moon Knight, you know.
Isn't it Apocalypse?
Or Apocalypse, yeah.
Mm.
Oh.
I mean, but
I love Moon Knight. I love that Marvel is able to tap into these, because Moon Knight was what 10 years ago. What Moon Knight's not an A character. He's not a B character. Would he be a C or a D character?
Oh God!
Like in all of Marvel, he's like probably a C- character. But Marvel can tap that, the bottom of. I'm not trying to trash Moon Knight, but they can take these characters that nobody gives a shit about, that the general public has no idea who they are, and turn them into something. Get good writers, get good casting, make a good show. I hope that show does awesome. But you're talking a 9.4 versus a 9.4. You're talking Moon Knight versus the X-Men. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close. It's not X-Men 1, but I mean, come on, the X-Men that most people recognize and know, it's that team right there.
Right.
Those are right there.
And then how many first appearances do you have in that issue? Like, it's countless at this point. No, I'm just joking. But there's a lot of first appearances in the giant size X-Men that most people will relate to when they think of X-Men. And then what is also, it's Wolverine's third appearance, right? Something like that.
I
don't know. His second on the cover.
Is it second on the cover
or third? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Then you come out in the Foom cover or whatever.
Do you count that?
I count it.
Concept. Okay. The Foom 10.
Yeah, the Foom.
Okay, I was thinking of Foom 2. So, but he's not on the cover of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just that concept drawing that some fan drew or whatever, and then named the character the Wolverine. But I mean, yeah, but also like we for sure know that we're getting X-Men in the MCU versus what Moon Knight is just a Disney Plus series. Is that right?
Yeah.
So far, yes.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm sure like depending on how the horror stuff does in the MCU or in Disney Plus, I'm sure they could expand it. I mean, obviously, like they're doing Blade as a movie, so who knows where I guess that subgenre of superhero movies are gonna go. Yeah, but both are solid investments. I just relate more to the mutants than I would to Werewolf by Night or Moon Knight.
I mean, you could flip a coin. I at this particular point, it's a toss up. Now, let's see if the series of Moon Knight is great, then Jesus Christ, that book. Then you're talking about moving Moon Knight into the feature films, right? And that's a thing, right? And then that character continues on. That's why they put an A-list character actor in that role, and he is an A-lister, believe it or not. But he's a hell of an actor. Depending
But
on what kind of
even
supporting
if he makes,
cast, you know,
even if
Hulk.
he gets his own feature film,
Well, I don't think
like
no.
which
I think here's the thing. Unless that show is phenomenal, then you could talk his own feature. I think he's more a side character to appear, right?
yeah.
I can't see them doing a Moon Knight movie unless it's just a he does a phenomenal job and the fans just push for this to be a solo movie. I mean,
I could just the X-Men book. I mean, people would call it stupid, but I could easily see that tripling in
oh
two
yeah,
years. I
yeah,
mean, in 2 years, as soon as we start hearing casting, we know more about what these X-Men movies are going to be. It's going to be huge. Everyone knows the X-Men. And yes, that book is out there. You can go to any major con and find a few copies. Yes, some of our friends probably have maybe more than one copy. Maybe they've owned many copies in their life and they're kind of sick of seeing it. I don't care.
bro.
It's still
My
it's a much more important book in the
my
long
buddy
run.
Jr. Shout out Jr. What's going on, bro? He had two fucking 9.8 Giants X Men, bro. Like
Wow.
he's the Hispanic Chris Colbert. You know, I'm
Well,
serious. Like they're
yeah,
the same guy, man. They don't fuck
yeah.
around. They buy
Well,
big books and they flip them
Well,
for a bigger book.
well, at this point, like I think you really have to ask yourself which book is more liquid, or which book is going to be more liquid in the future. And I think it was covered on the Flipside show that uh, giant size X-Men that was actually in a dip of a price. So whoever bought it at that price actually got a pretty good steal, because there was an outlier that was like, I think like 30K or something like that, and then the one right below that was like 15K, and then 12K or something like that.
Would you call it a dip, or would you just like people
Well,
that wanted already bought it, and so now like the ones now people can't afford, other people can't afford it, so people are dropping their price to sell it. Does that make sense?
oh,
You know, so it was
yeah,
shooting up. It was shooting up in the summertime because
mhm,
everybody wanted it. Now they
right.
have it, right? And so the people that wanted it have it. And so now that these people have this book and they want to flip it, nope, everybody's got it already. You know what I
right.
mean? So the price has got to go down unless
Yeah,
they
Doesn't it
want to
feel
buy
like
multiple
too?
copies, right? I mean,
but
that's the way I,
it's like watching stocks. Like it'll go
Yeah.
up and down, but it'll always like float around the same amount, like plus or minus 3K or something like that,
yeah.
You
right?
know what we should do? We should, we need more metrics for a comic book speculating and investing. We should do like they do in the stocks. Take the top 20 blue chip books and put them in an index and just track them as a whole. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the comic Dow is up 14 or the comic
Yeah,
Dow.
that's a
Then
good idea, bro. You
you could
better
see
go
if
ahead
Dang.
the
and
whole
yeah,
market is kind of dipping or if it's just that one book,
you better
you know.
trademark that shit right now, Tony, because that's a
You
hell
I'll
of an
write
better.
that
idea,
down.
man.
I'll write
I think you just need to call it GPA or Go Collect or something like that, and
Yeah,
it's like
they could do it
yo,
real quick.
I mean, because they
yeah.
have all the data already. Like, I'm
Absolutely.
like, how hard would it be to like separate it by like either ages or I don't know. Now we're just spitballing it. Oh, you know who you need to talk to? You need to talk to Cover Price, because they keep a lot of analytics like that.
We could do it ourselves, man.
That's
I mean,
true too.
all we got to do is if you're talking 20 books, we could
Oh,
throw
that's
up
true.
we could come up with a figure. We could have a whole show deciding what the 20 books should be.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah,
All right.
no,
Go.
I'm not gonna say anything. I was gonna talk about like on Drunken Shack and Lucas has all the stocks out, and I just feel really dyslexic when I see all these letters and everything. I was like, man, I hope comics doesn't get like that, where it's just like,
Well,
here's the state of the industry right now. You know?
honestly, he might be a good person to talk to about that too, because
Yeah.
I know he's taken individual books and then like charts them out and stuff like that, and gives you a time period of like when the book was released
It
to
does do that. Yeah.
yeah, so to like with the next 30 days of what it did, or or
Yeah.
what it did for the last 2 weeks. So yeah. Oh, any final words for
Nah, man. I just I want to thank my Eric. I pressed his books, and they all came back 9/8 except for one. It came back a 9/9, bro. Department of Truth. So there's 1900 and the cover A 1900 9.8. There's 199, and I pressed that bitch.
That's awesome.
What's up, Eric? I bet you love me now, bro. I bet
Best
you love
presser
me
in
now.
Texas.
I bet you
Hey,
love me
Joe.
now, bro.
Joe, this was in the stack of books that I'm going to send you. So I'd like a 9.9 on this one if you can, please.
Man, that
All
looks
right.
like it's in pretty good shape, man.
I'll write that on the back just as a request if you could. No, that's awesome, man. That's so cool.
I'll get you a 9/9. It might come back restored though.
I don't care. Whatever.
Get a marker or something like that. No spine ticks on this, Tony.
Yeah,
All right.
no, I got nothing going on besides just getting ready to go to Baltimore. Super excited about that. It's good to see you guys. If you go check out this guy up here, he is the best presser, not just in Texas, but in the central time zone, I would say.
No, I mean,
That's a good one.
a lot of it too, man. You got to get fucking lucky too on some of these books, man. Like,
Yeah, well,
it sounds like they all come back gold and diamonds and everything. Like, I pressed Rob's books and a bunch of them came back 9/8, but then I had Colbert's books and like there's like 6 or 7 of them I'm not fucking happy with. So I said, send them back to me and I'll submit them under my account and I'll take care, but that's the customer service that I have. You know what I
right.
mean? So, I mean,
Yeah, no, much
not
respect, man.
not everybody's going to do that, but
It's a skill that I wish I had, and it's a practice I wish I had time to learn, but I don't. I rely heavily on experts like you. And up here in this corner, give a shout out to Aaron. He and McClay tie for the hardest working guys in Tales from the Flipside on the production side of things. So I appreciate you putting this together again.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Like honestly, like and I wouldn't be doing all this if it wasn't for Mighty Mail V. Like just like being like, hey, open forum, come jump on, like, and it's like kind of like, all right, I'll give it a shot. Like I like talking about comics, like, and like my brother's getting out of comics, so I need to find new people to talk comics with. So, and that's kind of how it started.
Yeah,
it's been
what would be fun, Aaron? When we're at Baltimore, you should record some micro content, like just up at a booth, pull 2 books out, pull some people over,
do a mini deal or
throw the camera up, dealer Flipside. Which one are you choosing? Why? That'd be kind of fun.
That's a good idea actually. And Nick Hart's gonna be up there, and he has a GoPro, so that might actually end up working because I'd rather not just film on my cell phone and then like come up with like a weird looking video that we're, I guess, either reflecting on the next week's episode or yeah.
Well, you're gonna have the Key Collector app open the whole time, right?
Shit, man.
Oh yeah, because that's how I dig for books. Because like, how else am I gonna find books that we've already talked about? I mean, oops.
Thank God I can refer to Bry's comics or whatever, so I can see that Amazing Fantasy 15 might be a book to speculate on. Thank God that he's there posting on Key Collector.
If
Jesus
I see
Christ,
that in the wild,
who would know, right? Like, man, Key Collector. I wonder what's hot right now. Amazing Fantasy 15. Did not know that. I wonder who's the first appearance in that book. Are you fucking serious, bro?
I don't know. Let me check real quick.
Don't pass it up.
Hey, no, like the Green Power Ranger better not be in Baltimore. Y'all are gonna have to get some bail money, bro.
Oh man, I feel like
asshole, man.
What do I feel like?
We're gonna do a roundtable about the Green Power Ranger one time,
fuck
just so we can
well,
get the story out.
I wonder how many fights are going to break out in the parking lot is my real question. But
Man, you
like
know,
to
if
be,
somebody wants to talk shit to me, dude, like they know where I'm at, dude. Like I don't give a shit. Like I really don't. Like if somebody's got something to say to me, they can say it to my face. You
oh
know?
man,
Like
no,
no,
but honestly,
I'm just playing.
yeah, I mean honestly,
It sounded good, right? They're like, holy shit.
it it did, and then
No,
honestly, I
I'm a big pussy, dude. Like I'm just
I'm gonna cosplay as the Green Power Ranger in Baltimore. Sorry.
no, man. I'm just kidding, man. Like I love comics and that I love pressing comics, man. Like make love, not war, baby.
yeah, and then honestly, I'm just excited to meet everyone that we've been podcasting with for over the last year, and then just to see like who just comes up and says, "Hey, what's up?" Like, I enjoy like watching your content or whatever. So I think that's probably like the most exciting thing about going to this convention. And then
I,
for us all to be in one room together, I think it's going to be like
it's gonna be
absolutely
crazy, man.
fucking insane.
I got to meet Nico, man, because like that guy just hit me up and he said, "Hey, you ever been on a podcast before?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "Well, you wanna?" And I was like, "Well, okay." And Aaron, like, shout out to you, bro. I mean, you helped me out, took me under your wing, and I truly appreciate your generosity and all you guys, man. Just welcomed me in this year, like I've always been a part of the team, and uh, just talking about what we like to do. It's just a bunch of guys. Like if we were at a comic shop, we'd all be complaining, speculating, collecting, and you know, uh, just trying to give the community some ideas on where they might be able to find some hanging fruit and make a little bit of money. But yeah, man, it's been a great year. It's been a great year.
Damn straight.
Yeah. And I just want to, as a final thought, I just want to find out who's taller, Nico or me.